The gameplay you're about to watch was played and recorded by me at the Skate preview event in LA. Thanks to EA for inviting me out to that. The Skate franchise has always been a mix of realistic players and unrealistic players, and it manages to create a pretty good balance between the two styles of gameplay. But as a realistic skater myself, whose whole content is focused around skateboarding simulation games, trying to mimic real-life skateboarding in a video game, today I'm asking the question, is Skate really made for realistic players? Now, there's actually quite a lot of features in the new Skate that are directly inspired from features that we see in modern skate sims, such as Session Skate Sim and Skater XL, and it might actually surprise you the amount of kind of skate sim-esque features that they put in. We're going to start off looking through a few settings. Now, I don't actually have any footage of the settings, but there is a few that really stand out that I definitely recommend checking out if you want a realistic experience if you get a chance to play Skate. So straight away, you'll notice that there's no difficulty settings in Skate. Unlike Skate 3, which has easy, normal, and hardcore mode, the difficulty settings have been replaced by 3 different control schemes. You have Streamlined, which is for the noobs who are just playing Skate for the first time. You have Classic, which is more for the casual players who just want the exact same controls from Skate 1, 2, and 3. And then you have Experience. Now, this is the control scheme that I recommend for realistic players. This gives you the most control over your skating in the game, and it just feels the best in my opinion. Now, the first main setting that you're going to want to mess around with is Grind Assist. This is on a slider from 0 to 100, and it controls how much the game actually assists you getting into grinds. So it controls how much the game kind of magnetizes you towards the edge of a ledge or a rail. By default, with the Experience control scheme, this is on 20, which is what I'm playing with in the gameplay. This is a pretty nice setting that requires you to be pretty accurate with getting into grinds, because you can still miss grinds very easily if you're not right over the ledge or the rail. But it also assists you just enough so that you could be consistent, which was perfect for me when I was trying to get gameplay clips in a limited space of time at the event. But you can crank this setting all the way down to 0, which means there's going to be no grind assist at all. The game is not going to help you out. This is a similar experience to Skate 3 hardcore mode, so you really have to be accurate with how you get on that ledge, how you get on that rail if you want to connect into a grind. Another setting that I was really excited to see when I checked out the settings for this game was minimum pop height. This is another slider from 0 to 100. Basically, it does what it says. The lower you have the setting, then the lower the minimum pop height will be. So I always play with this on 0, which means that I get the lowest possible pop for my tricks. It doesn't affect your max pop height, so you're still going to pop as high as the game lets you. And actually in Skate, the maximum pop height is actually still pretty low and quite realistic. So I'm happy that they went in that direction. You don't pop crazy high, but having this at 0 means that you can perform some really low pop flip tricks, and this is really noticeable on flat ground. You can pop really low to the ground trays and kick flips and things like that. Pretty much just gives you more room to mess around with your pop height, so you can do the lowest possible pop that the game allows you to do, and then you can also still do like your highest maximum pop at the same time. It's nice to have that freedom in pop height, and just having this option alone shows that they wanted to really cater to realistic skaters as well. Now, this one is more of like a quality of life thing, and it doesn't necessarily make the game more realistic, but I do think that realistic skaters are going to appreciate this one, and it is the hold fakie stance feature. Normally when you do a 180 trick, your skater will land in a fakie, or what I like to call true switch stance setting, for a couple seconds, but then just default back to the regular switch, which is just a mirrored version of your regular stance. So it's the exact same animations but just mirrored. But if you're in this fakie or true switch position, when you do tricks in switch, they actually look switch. You have that unique switch style, and then fakie tricks also look like proper fakie tricks. So if you toggle on hold fakie stance, it means that when you do a 180 trick, your skater will stay in that fakie or true switch stance until you push. I always have this toggled on because I really like that switch steez. I would love to see in the future if they added that switch steez to the regular switch, because I don't like that it is just the exact same animations and mirrored in both stances. I understand why they did this. It's kind of just simpler, and it's more consistent. I would like if it just defaulted to that nice switch stance in regular switch as well, but this hold fakie stance setting is a pretty nice little way to actually do some proper switch tricks and some proper fakie tricks. Now, another feature that I think was definitely inspired by the modern skate sims, is being able to move the camera left and right as you're skating. By default, the camera is in front of the skater. Whatever stance you're in, the camera's in front of the skater. By clicking the left analog stick, you can actually move it to the other side of the skater. It does do this automatically itself eventually, and there is actually settings to control how fast it goes between the two as well. But just having the ability to click the left analog stick, have the camera either in front of the skater or behind the skater is really nice. So if you want to hit a ledge backside, but the camera's in front of the skater and you can't really get lined up properly because the skater is kind of blocking the ledge, if you just click the left analog stick, then you can move the camera to the other side of the skater and you'll get a clearer view of the ledge, and it might make the trick easier to hit. Yeah, this is just a nice simple feature that really just helps with the overall flow of the game. Additionally, you can also go between the high camera and the low camera on the fly in game by clicking the right analog stick. Personally, I only really use the low camera, but it's cool to have this feature now kind of seamlessly in the game. One of the more obvious features that has been advertised a bunch in all of the promotional stuff for Skate is the ability to control your flip speed. But again, as something that I think us Skate sim players are used to by now, it's really nice to see this feature in Skate as well. So depending on how fast you flick the analog stick, changes how fast you flick the trick in game. So you can get some really nice slow kick flips, some really nice slow tray flips down sets, which looks super steezy, or you can flick it really fast, which is good for doing like double flips and things like that. And it's just really nice to have this control over the flip speed because it just gives you more freedom to steeze a certain trick how you like. Now this next thing is one that a lot of people have actually been asking me in the comments of my other skate videos, and it's a pretty important one. And yes, we can finally pinch grinds. In Skate 1, 2, and 3, you weren't able to actually get a proper pinch in grinds, and it was mostly obvious in crooked grinds. But the first 3 games, you couldn't pinch, so crooked grinds always looked a little bit funky. You can now pinch grinds, and they look super steezy, they look super good, and I'm so glad they finally added this to Skate. It does help to have grind assist down because the less assistance means the kind of more control you have over getting into your grind. So if you have grind assist all the way down or low, you can definitely get easier control over pinching grinds. And yeah, it's just great to finally have this in Skate, and I know it's going to make a lot of people happy. So that is most of the features, settings, and tricks that I think really are there for the realistic players, and it shows you that we haven't been left behind. There's a lot of goofy stuff, a lot of unrealistic stuff you can do in this game, but it is just completely your choice. And now that we actually have probably the most in-depth settings we've ever had and the most control over our settings and how the game feels and plays than we've ever had in the franchise before, I think it's really cool that you can hop in and you can play as realistic as you want, or you can just go and jump off a skyscraper and do whatever you want. And I would love to see more settings and more kind of options open up in the future. I hope that they do add a few extra things in there. A big thing for me that I think us realistic skaters would love to see would be different board sizes, different truck sizes, different wheel sizes, different wheel shapes, different board shapes. That I would love to see that in Skate. They could open up to so much more customization if they added those kinds of things. Also, different camera types in the replay editor, so you can actually get some more kind of grounded realistic filming. That would be cool. So I think there's a lot that they could do here, and I think I've said the word realistic probably a million times already in this video. But other than that, guys, I will catch you in the next video. Peace.